Hello and welcome to the Industry Podcast. My name is Corey. I'm joined by my co-host Blake. And the Industry Podcast is your source for industry interviews, insights, and inside stories. How's your week, Blake?
Pretty good.
Awesome. What'd you get to do?
I got to go to to the lake at a place called Windy Point Park.
Really? What was that like? Was it windy?
No, but it was like a really nice swim area with like boats and paddle boards and everything. And if you sat at the edge of the water, you'd have all those waves coming on you. I mean, it was like a mini beach kind of.
Nice.
And on Sunday, I got to go to Six Flags again, and all the lines were short.
Really?
Yeah.
So you actually got to go on a whole bunch of rides?
I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Wait, what are short lines relative to Six Flags? Is that like 50 to 100 people around there? Because when we went there, it was like 300 people easy, right?
Yeah. When we went there, like we got on each ride within 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, not when we went. We were basically just cooking in the sun.
We waited hours.
Yeah.
And
that was intense.
And I hope you don't mind me asking Jason the first question this time, but
yeah, go for it. Take it away.
I love Six Flags. Yes, if that's your question.
No. So besides Jurassic Park, what other films do you like?
Well, my ultimate favorite movie of all time is the Black Christmas 1974 version.
Wow.
I just love it. He's behind the board. Yes. No, that's just my all-time favorite movie. Not even horror movie, just favorite movie. It's just like without that movie, we wouldn't have a lot of the horror movies that are of today. And the same guy that made A Christmas Story made it. So it's just like, come on. And Porky's.
Porky's is a great movie.
Oh, so good.
That movie made me a man.
Yes. Agreed.
Black Christmas. Wow, that's a deep cut, man. So how did you hear about that movie? Are you a film student?
No, I never went to film school, so I did just research. I did a ton of research. But my favorite band, CKY, this band called CKY, the singer, Darren Miller, he used to post, it was pretty much like Reddit before Reddit, because on their website they would have like Ask CKY questions, and someone was just like, what are your favorite horror movies? And he listed Black Christmas on there. I was like, I never heard of this movie. So, and all the other ones I have. And that's pretty much how I found out about it. I first saw it when I was 16 years old, and it scared am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay. It scared the shit out of me. And it scared the shit out of me. It was like that night I was like, my closet doors were open. I was like, I'm shutting these guys. So yeah, that was like probably the last movie that scared the shit out of me too. So I was just like, this movie means something.
Yeah, it set a precedent in your mind for like how can this be topped? You know?
Oh gosh, I mean, and as I get older too, it's just like that movie and the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably, those two movies are just like hands down some of the scariest,
horrific,
amazing, and they're just overall really done, like well-made movies. They're not just like there's so many like horror movies that come out. I was literally talking to someone yesterday, and they're just like, oh, man, for a low-budget horror movie like Halloween, it's just like, hey, let's pump the brakes here. Yeah. In 1977, they probably made that movie. It came out in 78, so they had a budget, I think it was like $320,000. In 1977, to have $320,000, that's not very low, I would say.
Not a low amount of money.
Nowadays,
it's probably around $1 million now.
Exactly. So it's like nowadays, it's just like, I have $320,000 to make a movie. It's like, oh shit, that's a low budget movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so whenever like people say like Halloween's like a low budget movie, I'm like, I wish. But yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I love horror movies a lot, but I'm big on like dramatic movies and stuff too. So
awesome,
especially as I get older. So
like genres, like listing genres of types of movies.
Comedy, drama.
I feel like you go into deep cuts. Like post neo horror.
Yeah. You gotta, because there's so many stuff that's just given to us that everybody talks about, but then there's movies which I even feel like Porky's is even like in a somewhat deep cut way. Like not a lot of people talk about Porky's. No, it's a comedy.
when you're a little kid.
Oh yeah, when you're a little kid, yeah, sure, it can be horrific. But that's another movie where, I mean, once again, Bob Clark made it, and he made
Yeah.
Black Christmas and A Christmas Story, but he also made Porky's.
Those are wildly different genres
They're
of movies.
they're 180s of movies.
So that's a man who had a lot of range.
Oh
in
yeah,
storytelling.
but he made Porky's as well, and then we don't give Porky's the credit that American Pie, you stole the shit out of Porky's, or all those type of teen high school movies. It's just revert back to Porky's. So I feel like not a lot of people talk about Porky's that much, but we can just talk about Porky's for the next hour if you would like. Now
we could. That shower scene.
Oh gosh,
is
yeah.
that set a precedent in my mind for what sex can be.
Exactly. To be a kid and watching that movie again.
No, so horror films, obviously top one, probably one,
yeah.
2, and 3, and with subgenres, I'm sure.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
going
I would
there.
say horror, drama, comedy, or somewhere. It fluctuates
Yeah,
depending
whatever
on the mood.
mix of that, or
Exactly.
is it a specific director like Bob
No.
Clark?
No, it's not really. I mean, when I was younger, it's just kind of my favorite, director this or my favorite that director that. But now I'm just kind of whatever's good. Just give me something that's good and doesn't.
Something
It
you
can
can sink your teeth into
Exactly.
that has layers.
It can be made by Bob down the street. As long as it's good, I'm here for it. So.
I like that, man. Jason, the man of the people.
Oh,
watch
yeah.
your films. Jason will
nice.
watch your films.
I'll watch
He
them.
will. Yeah. So, welcome to Austin. I understand you're
Thank
a
you.
recent transplant.
I am, yeah.
Where from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had some time in LA, but my time was done there. But yeah, I'm from Jersey, and yeah. So.
What made you move to Austin? Was it the film world, or?
Well, I mean, it made the most sense of where to go. I wasn't going to go back to Jersey, that's for sure. But there's a film community here. I'm heavily involved with the music world as well. So it's just there's both of this here, so it just made the most sense to come out here because New York is way too expensive, and I don't think I would survive in New York
And
City.
you packed it to a sardine can.
Exactly. Yeah.
For $3,000.
Yeah. Here's your 200 square feet apartment with no utilities included, and you
And
are
they don't
paying.
work.
Yeah.
And your rats are your roommates.
Yeah, and you're paying.
I know too much about
So
New
much.
York from movies, and I feel like that is just because, just being from America, we know so much about New York without ever going there. And the
Yeah.
whole world has kind of gotten its share of what that city looks like, a little bit of the culture, just jammed down their throats.
Yeah.
Like little kids in Gandhi probably know that there's way too many taxis in New York.
Oh, 100%. It's just do Ubers and Lyfts even exist in New York? I know that they do, but it's just I feel like everyone in New York still uses taxis, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's quicker. I feel like they nailed it down because it's such a densely populated area.
Taxi
Yeah.
drivers are insane.
Yeah.
When's the last time you drove in a taxi?
That's a good question. I got a story about that actually.
I
Back
never
home-
have driven one.
Really?
No.
They drive like maniacs.
Well,
They're
I've taken a-
straight insane people.
Does does Uber count?
I
Yeah,
mean-
we're doing Uber versus taxi. What do you think is better?
Probably Uber because they're probably cheaper. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
They level it to about the same unless your Uber driver frames you for puking in their car.
Framing. I got framed
Yeah.
for puking in this car.
I got a couple Uber stories, but the one about the taxi thing is just something that I just observed. I was working a security job, and I had to go to work at 4 a.m. In a smaller town where Uber existed, but taxis were kind of still really common and a lot more dependable because everybody in a small town is stuck in the 50s, and that's kind of where it is.
I love that though.
Yeah, isn't that great? It's like small town USA everywhere except
I love
in
it.
big cities.
I love it.
But I was stuck between a rock and a hard place one morning where Sunday at 4 a.m. all the college Uber drivers are asleep on Sunday at 4 a.m. So I had to call a taxi. and riding in Ubers for several months, I just got used to like the lo-fi indie music in there, about 75 air fresheners, and the low late night radio DJ voice of the Uber driver. No matter who it is, they just have like a low voice like, hey, how's it going, man? Or at least in my town, it was just all jazz musicians or something. But anyways, I ended up calling this taxi driver, and I get in, and he's got a peg leg, he's got one eye. He hands me a 35. He's like, "Listen, you might need this if something goes down." And then he doesn't use a GPS. I'm so used to seeing that. He uses, just the fucking North Star or something, and just guesses his way. I'm like, I need to go here. He goes, "I know where you need to go." And he just fucking drives us there. And I don't know how we got there. And then I got out and my butt hurt.
Jesus. All right.
And that was my attempt at a joke. Stay tuned next week for more jokes. No, but it's just wildly different in terms of those things. But
Yeah.
New York is a wild place, and like I said, I've never even been there. So
New York is a vibe for sure.
You made the right choice to come to Austin.
Yeah. I mean, Austin is a vibe too.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, the latest short that I did, that's screening at a film festival soon is like.
Congratulations.
Why? Thank you.
Selection process.
And
People who went to film
semi-finalist.
school, I feel like, are on those boards, maybe.
Probably. I don't
Or
know.
People who bought their way into it.
Probably. I don't know.
Combination of both. Who knows? I liked your film, though. That's all that matters.
Oh, well, thank you. But like doing that, like I shot it in Los Angeles, but I wish that it was like made in New York because it's just like such a grit to it. It's black and white. I kind of just like threw shot digitally, but like wish I shot it 16 millimeter,
Sure.
But like, I give it that effect and look and stuff because like New York just kind of that rubs off on you and that, so, and one of my buddies that is from New York, he saw it and he was just like, this is very New York style. I was just like, that's what I was going for. But it was shot in Los Angeles. So,
Nice.
So yeah.
What's your film about? Is it a horror film or?
Oh no! So this one's Serotonin. It's just a short about an addict that goes and picks up a drug deal, but kind of figures shit out along
Sure.
the way when she's picking up her deal. That I'm not going to say the ending, but yeah. So it's just about a girl facing her addiction. And her personal life going on. It's just super gritty. It's just a hardcore drama. So yeah. So there's that one, and then there's another one that's more of a thriller that I have.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. I like that premise. Did you use any like time interpolation techniques? If you know how that happens. What we explained is like an addict going to a drug deal and. Kind of figures her life out along the way. So is there a lot of how long is the film?
That short is only I'll take a couple steps back. So this year I made like a promise to myself I'm going to make one short a month for the entire year, just to stay creative and all that type of stuff.
Powerful.
Oh, just to stay creative. Sorry. Just to stay creative, I wanted to make a short film once a month this entire year, just to stay creative. It's very aggressive, but to do it with no cash. I have 2 actor friends out in Los Angeles that were just like, yeah, let's go make stuff. So this first one that I did, which is titled Mia, that's a thriller, and so that's all done with. But then the Serotonin one that I just told you about, that was our second one that we did, and I'm losing track of the question. Sorry, but
yeah, I was just wondering how long that film was.
So my whole thing when making these one short a month thing was to keep them under 5 minutes long, but this one actually went. I think it's like almost 6 minutes long. Okay. I was like trying so hard in the edit to trim it all down, but like then I felt like I was just kind of losing the momentum of certain moments and next steps of thing.
I think that question of how much do you need to illustrate an idea. I think that's what's shortening every day. Because now you have TikToks that can be movies, and it's 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I edit a lot.
Your favorite film, Black Christmas, in the 70s, that was obviously an era where scenes were 1 to 2 minutes long.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that's just a different feeling. You come out especially if it's a deeply well done film, it's just life changing. Or it can be. I think it's all relative. I think we're all just getting old.
Yeah, I mean, well,
But I just don't see how like a 15-second video could do that. But a 6-minute short
Does, though.
film, you have to have a lot of like cutting skill. So like, did you get into editing first when you got into filmmaking?
no. Well, I guess technically yes, but everything that I've always shot myself, like I've always edited myself as well.
Nice.
Like I used to back in the day would do the 2 VCRs editing.
Really?
So yeah, which is called crash editing, and you would do, you would play whatever your raw footage is on this VCR, and then you record whenever you play out the parts that you want and record it onto the other tape deck. But then I would take an extra step and add music to it. So then I would go from this tape deck to this tape deck and put in like, a CD player, a Discman or whatever, and put them in the auxiliary in jacks. So when you're recording, you're now laying down some music, but you have to like audio level that manually.
Oof.
And then from that, I would then go from this tape deck to this tape deck of adding sound effects. But I didn't have a sound effect library, but I had Wu-Tang Clan albums, and they got gunshots on there. So I just took the gunshots from the skits that they would have on like Wu-Tang Forever album, and then go hit record again on this one. By the time the tape was done, it was just barely visible because it's just going back and forth so much and wearing the tape down. But so that I used to do at a super young age, and then I started editing, when on like computer, probably like in middle school. But then yeah, so now professionally I edit on computer. But
so you're editing tape to tape, crash editing.
Oh yeah.
At like 5 years old.
Oh yeah. Not at 5, but
Just
definitely
like super young. Just like
definitely under the age
into
of
it.
10, 100%. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was. I made lots of feature-length films under the age of 10. You
You're
make
at home here with.
All right.
We are an AV nerd like crew right now.
Oh hell yeah,
I love that.
100%.
that's
100%.
awesome. Hell yeah.
What does that make us? The Three Stooges or something?
I'll take it.
Yeah, sure, why not? But with glasses. I feel
Yeah,
like
exactly. We all have glasses.
we are the Silicon Valley of. We are the Yerba Mate Valley of Austin.
That was supposed to be a joke, by the way.
But so now I do professionally edit for YouTube channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's funny what you said about like the whole TikTok thing, condensing something into 15 seconds and getting that point across.
You got to get good at that now.
It's like I get it, I understand it. Is it my style? Is it what I prefer? No, not at all. But I did find like a happy medium in with these 2 shorts that I did. I was just like, what if there's like this happy medium of like having these long stretch out scenes, which is like how I like movies, and just like well developed scenes, but also like the jump cuts that they do on like YouTube editing or TikTok editing and stuff like that. So I kind of combined the two, and I grew up in a household that involved with music, like heavy music and stuff. So sounds mean a lot to me. So I try to incorporate that as well with my edits. So I'm just like, well, I think I actually made this work, with these jump cuts going on, because then I just go in like sound design heavy and just like, it's just like the serotonin short, when the one girl's like talking to the other girl, she's kind of like bullying her. So when all that's happening, it's like these hard cuts going on, but then there's like, like gunshots going off in reverse and all this stuff. So then it's just kind of like, it's like a bullet. Every hit that she's giving her verbally, there's like a stab sword, like a sort of like stabbing, like sound effect, or just something that like, but it's going with the cut. So it's like, it's making it just real, I don't know.
You're doing what's called a sound cut.
I guess.
Where you're covering a cut that would otherwise be jarring with audio.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of like cutting the black, but like the opening of a door sound effect is inside. And
exactly.
And then it opens up to somebody
already
inside a house.
I'm a big fan of that. And to be honest, I think with like just going back to TikTok editing, it's just keep it moving. Let's just keep it rolling. Like I'm writing a screenplay right now where like I even write it in my scripts of how like I want the sound design to play out with the visual. So like there's like, this one scene that I'm like currently writing where there's someone on the side of the road and they're talking about something, but then a car drives by, and then it's the other group of people that we're following in the story. But as that car's driving by, we're cutting to inside the car as opposed to just like little stupid things like that. But it's just it keeps it rolling as opposed to like drawing out or dragging
doing
out.
Cuts like that, like camera operation like that.
Yeah, you know, it's just like a lot of people like, you know, like I guess like nowadays, I guess Edgar Wright would probably be the one that like really puts the best usage of that to a degree. I mean, at least with like the Cornetto films, the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and World's End.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, the smash cut of
the smash cuts and all stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, which I don't do those. Which I do.
Power zooms as well.
Yeah, see, I don't do all that. It's just like that's his. You know, so I'll wiggle my way over here.
I can say I'm influenced by that a little bit. I met Blake when he was moving down to Austin. He literally posted online like, "Hey, I'm moving down. I need help." So I showed up and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make a vlog out of this." Because it was like mid-COVID. I was like, "All right, let's do this. Let's make a film." And I made that one, and then he moved again. I made another vlog on top of that, like a continuous like telling that story. And I used some influences from that extra like super jump cut, like slamming the door, opening up the moving truck door from inside, and then like the slamming of the door and a couple other things, just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's great.
Scene started.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, obviously you have to do it wherever it's like possible to do it.
Yeah.
Because like there's times where like, you know, I wanted to do it in like other spots. I'm like, this just doesn't work. You have to let this one play out. So
deeply layered film and studying film. That's why it's endlessly interesting. Is because it's like, how much time do you spend with each, you know, look? What's the focal length? What emotion do you get from this like distance from the character versus how much you can see behind them? And it's just endless because you add sound and light and timing into that. It's insanely complex though. More power to you, man. That you got into the Burbank International Film Festival with Serotonin.
Serotonin, yeah. And then like I submitted into a bunch of film festivals, kind of just like waiting to see what happens. But Burbank International Film Festival, that will be where the premiere will be for that one.
Are you on Film Freeway?
Yeah. So it's on there.
Nice.
It's so much better. I remember like back in the day. I sound so old, but I'm not. Back in my day. No, there was like this.
Tape film.
There was like this not that old. There was like this one website that used to do pretty much what Film Freeway does, and I don't remember what it was, but it was so bad. But like Film Freeway perfected it, I feel. Love it. So I have that one that's screening at Burbank Film Festival, and the Mia one, I don't know if don't know when this airs or anything, but
airs tomorrow.
Oh, okay, great.
No, not tomorrow. Monday morning.
Okay, that's totally fine then. But as of October 25th, I believe, the first short that I did, the one Mia, that one will be distributed on a High Octane Pictures YouTube channel. So they kind of licensed it from me to kind of just like promote it and put it out there after. I think it starts October 25th. I'm not sure.
Basically, a distributor reached out to you for your short film.
Yeah, which was kind of funny because they emailed me. They're like, "Hey, like, you know, do you have any shorts or features that you would like to submit for us and stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I sent them.
Octane before that?
No, I don't know how I got in touch with them.
They just somehow saw it.
I don't know. Maybe it was from Film Freeway. It was from one of the other festivals. I really don't know.
That's exciting.
It kind of is. Cause I was just like, okay, all right, I'll take this. But yeah, I got an email from them. And so I sent them the 2 shorts about that, and they're just like, well, obviously it's a short film, so we can't like heavily distribute it, but like we can put it on our YouTube channel. I'm like, that's awesome. It's either going to sit on my hard drive at home or put it up on my YouTube channel, or I can be like, hey, go to High Octane Pictures.
Just let them do
YouTube
all the
channel
stuff. Let them handle all of that because that's a full-time job.
Exactly. Oh, it is. I had to do all that for my first feature. Do all the deliverables and like
you got how many features have you done?
Only one. Okay. I did one when I was 23 years old, and
intense.
Yeah, it was pretty intense, and you know, a 23-year-old mentality. So I don't think, it's a movie.
Yeah.
I actually wish that I could go back in and recut it now that I consider myself a good editor now.
Yeah.
That's
but I cut it back then when I was 23 and I was just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. I still drink light beer.
Yeah, exactly. Give me this Coors Light, damn it. But now, like, you know, like it's out there. It's out there in the world. It's nice to say that my movie came out in 19 territories worldwide and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. But it's like
Put
like
that in your elevator speech. Like,
yeah.
holy shit.
But you know, I want to make another movie because I'm an adult now. Give me the money again so I can make something that's actually good.
So were you? So how did that play out? How did you get your feature? How did you get somebody to pay you a whole bunch of money at 23? And
the budget was only $36,000, so it was just like it wasn't too much money. And thankfully, it's
like
just
money down on a Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nothing. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's nothing. I mean, it's a lot to me, but
it's a lot as far as like what you can make nowadays. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
As far as like the quality of camera you can acquire.
Well, that's the thing.
And like how much you can bring into a production. If you have a solid script and just a hardcore mentality to get it done.
Yeah.
You can do it under. I would say I've never done this before, so it's not really accurate. But like 15 grand.
You can do it. If Robert Rodriguez did it for under $7,000, or whatever the final cost of that was,
exactly.
if he was able to do it back in 91 or 90, whatever year that was that El Mariachi came out, if he was able to do it under $7,000 back then on film, there ain't no fucking excuse.
No excuse
that you can't do it in 2021 with your iPhone. You know what I mean?
iPhone, yeah.
Steven Soderbergh makes features with an iPhone. I'm like, okay, dick. This guy can get shit produced on big budget scales, and he's just like, I got my iPhone here. But anyway, there's literally no excuse, and that's kind of the thought process that I went into this year of like, I have so many, you know, I have my own camera equipment. I have my own lighting. I have my own audio equipment. I know how to edit. I know how to, like, I fucking do it myself, man. I score music. I'm a producer. I produce music and stuff. So it's like, I know how to make music.
Awesome.
So it's just like, I know that my biggest flaw is lighting. Yeah. But I do have a fantastic DP that lives out in Austin, and we're already talking now of just like, hey, like we'll do this, that, and this. His name's Adam Urich. He's done a bunch of like reality stuff, but he shot a few music videos for me and stuff like that. Like the dude, he's solid, and he's just such a great human being. So, you got somebody to just delegate that out to. He's the guy that is going to really, really pump things up. But I actually showed him the Mia short film last night, and he texted me. He was just like, it's like, it's not bad. And I was just like, the camera work's actually pretty good, Jay. And I was just like, it's like, you don't have to be nice. You can tell me the truth.
Listen, I spent 5 minutes in LA. You don't have to be nice to me.
Yeah, don't bullshit me, man. I'm from Jersey. Just fucking lay it down to me. But
is the Jersey Film Association pretty hardcore?
I never fucked with them, so I don't know.
Fun fact: Hollywood used to shoot in Minnesota and New Jersey back in the day. But the winter months actually impacted how many movies they could turn out in a year.
Makes sense.
So they went all to Hollywood and studios and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
But New Jersey was actually a place to film.
I mean, New Jersey, when you're young, you're kind of just like, I hate this place. But when I go back now as an adult, I'm just kind of like,
I feel like a lot of people resent
this is cool.
it.
A lot of people do.
New Jersey for like no reason.
They do.
Like I mean, TV teaches us a lot of things, and New Jersey is never in a good light.
Yeah, no. Especially, like, I mean, where I'm from, it's like this super small town. So, in South Jersey, so it's closer to Philadelphia and stuff. But
nice.
But yeah, so
the bro city.
No, that's north. That's Philly. Yeah,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah. So when I did the feature for $36,000, it was tough doing it, but it was all possible. And to be honest with you, the movie really actually only cost about $26,000 to do because we had to pay this production company $10,000 to pretty much shoot it. But yeah, so in the budget for that, it was originally budgeted for $50,000. So if we were able to, shave off X amount of money to actually make it, it's doable. You just got to put your head to it. Will it? Once again, this is why I wish I can go back and re-edit the movie because like there's so many things where like I know I can make that better. But when we sold it to our distributor, RLJ Entertainment, back then it was Image Entertainment, but now they're RLJ Entertainment. But the acquisitions guy there, he was just like, how much did you make that movie for? And I was just like, $36,000. He's like, are you serious? We gave you X amount of money because we thought it was made for $100,000. So I was like, I fucking wish. I wish that it was made for $100,000. The things I could have pulled off. But the first thing he said right afterwards was just like, wow, well, you know how to spend your dollar. So I took that as the best compliment. And it's just like, I can 100% like stretch out a dollar.
23-year-old who can manage money?
Well, I had my cousin who helped produce it. He pretty much was the business guy of the
rare,
thing. So, I mean, it worked. That's what we wanted to do, and that's what we did. And but ever since then, it's been an uphill battle to get another one done because it wasn't like
Well, you definitely have the
huge or anything. So.
Yeah, you have more than enough to convince somebody to give you funding.
You
You've already gone down that
think?
road.
You think?
Yeah.
But it's just not that easy.
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy.
Knowing like investors and things like that, and being in those circles.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what's gonna happen. It's like I'm circulating a couple ideas with a few people. So
nice.
Hopefully something comes out of it.
Executive producers in this.
Yeah.
Get Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, Thomas said hi. Get Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Rodriguez. I know where one of his houses is.
One.
So we're basically best friends.
Nice. There it is.
No. That's awesome, man. What an incredible start to your film career. Are you gonna do this your whole life? Or
I mean, I feel like
you're gonna be in this forever.
I'm in too deep. It's like I have
You're
this.
at home. You got lighting equipment falling over everywhere.
Yeah, and as I said, it's like I do edit for YouTube channels. Pretty much do that full time, and it's fantastic. It's great. It pays the bills, puts a roof over my head. So
and you also understand the zeitgeist of editing YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Because they've created their own film language.
I'll tell you what. Whatever you learn about film and stuff like that, and then when you go to a YouTube channel, just throw all the stuff that you learned to film out the window. Yeah. Just throw it because they don't give a shit.
Unless
you're
watching a channel about film.
Yeah.
Like about the study of film or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I pretty much had to relearn how to edit for YouTube because it's a whole other entity. But
so do you edit like PewDiePie?
Not PewDiePie, but I've edited it for channels like his and stuff like that.
Yeah, similar to it.
Yeah.
So you have that. I don't know. I've actually dived into a little bit editing on. I run a gaming channel that I've created, and I'm just trying to, latch onto that film language because it really is in the YouTube ecosystem, and they all kind of build off of each other and edit kind of almost in the same way because YouTube's been around for so long.
Yeah.
And the way to make a popular video basically tells you how to do the same thing over and over. Then everybody just gets their own style that kind of fits in YouTube. So I've seen that and I've realized it, and I'm just trying to learn that because that's a good skill to have. So
I've
made some vlogs and things like that where I put like a good amount of effort into it, but it's just enough to get that aesthetic where I'm just like I'm slapping like PNGs on the screen and going this, and this, and then just slap it around, and then like cuts to different scenes with no context.
Yeah.
And other what are some other YouTube editing tropes?
That's pretty much it. Which is really funny. I mean, we're in a generation where
ADHD. Like the editor has a voice. In a way.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, which is great. But it, like how I look at YouTube and the way that it's cut and stuff like that is just very much it's tending to people with like ADD and stuff like that. Like, cause it 100%. Works. It works for me. Like when I'm cutting or, I'm just like, okay, I'm getting bored with this. Okay. Let me just throw something on the screen. Yeah. So I mean, you already have it right. Just throw some PNGs up there, have the music change like every 10 seconds or whatever it may be. Throw in sound effects, do these hard cuts and all that stuff. And just really just like keep it snapping.
Yeah. Any kind of like emotional, like turn or any kind of like, I guess emotional, like swell up, whether it's like a moment where you should be angry or should be happy, like just emphasize that as much as you fucking can.
Yeah.
So like he like drops his fucking phone or something.
And you can make it.
Camera, take that face and just like. Put an explosion after it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's literally just kind of like, what's the most ridiculous shit to get the point across? Slap it on there.
Yeah. and how to make it. I don't think they're really thinking like that. That's where the interesting part.
I don't know.
Where it comes in. Obviously, yourself as a YouTube editor, you're thinking like that from learning how to edit. But I seriously doubt there's classical film editors across the board editing all the YouTube videos out there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I know a bunch of directors that edit for YouTube channels.
Really?
Oh yeah, and that's kind of like
That's
where their
interesting.
main bread is at
Really?
the end of the day. Because I mean, it's like if you're not making a movie, and I mean, you're technically probably if you are
This
making
is mind blowing.
if you're making
didn't know
movies consistently, you're probably making movies every 2 years.
Yeah.
And if it's an indie filmmaker, they're not rolling around in the dough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're definitely editing other. Like I know directors that edit features on the side when they're trying to find financing for theirs and stuff. It's especially out in Los Angeles. It's a real easy way to make a living is editing other people's shit. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Is it really that easy to get an editing gig in LA?
I made a living off of it when I was living out
Really?
there. Like I just straight up like when I
Just hit up
first
people and was like, hey, I edit.
Well, when I first moved out there, I was just like, all right, I'm going to have to go get a real job. And this was when, like, my movie came out and all that stuff. I'm going to have to just go get a job and, you know, keep pay rent and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was just kind of like, well, I can edit. Let's see what's on Craigslist. So I just...
It's the greatest place where dreams live and die.
So I looked up and, I luckily got through... you know, years of living in Los Angeles of just strictly editing stuff. I never had to go get like a real job or whatever per se, you know.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Austin, you're gonna do just fine in Austin. Then.
I
You
mean-
need even less income to chill here.
Oh,
Nice.
I mean, that's yeah. It's a beautiful thing, the price difference of things. But also, it's just out here. Just as I said,
No
the
smoke,
energy
yeah.
feels way a bit well.
No wildfire smoke. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. But out here it's just way more just chill in general. And it's just it's the energy out here I prefer. So it's more laid back.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely. In my experience living in Austin, I've been here for a little over a year.
Hmm.
The chill vibe is real. You can literally just hang out all day, every day. Nobody has a problem with it. But if there is an issue where something like fucks up your life, like people are still chill about it, and it gets into people being assholes, like kind of quickly, depending on like where your anger level is. But like, I'm usually chill all the time. Like, there's very little that can set me off. But if it's something like, you know, like a banking issue or something like that, that fucks with me pretty hard. And if the person behind the desk is like, hey man, just it's all good. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, my rent bill was
Yeah.
late.
Yeah,
You should be at my energy right now.
yeah.
And Austin doesn't do that. We don't do that. At music shows, yeah, totally.
Well,
Turn up at music shows.
One of the
Great time. But
one-
yeah, across the board, besides that, yeah, Austin's a great place. So welcome.
Thank you. One of my, I don't know why this is, but my go-to movie if I'm going through a breakup is Slacker. I don't fucking know why, but it's just one of those movies that I just always find it on my shit. So just that opening scene of Slacker of like when the what is it, the girl that gets hit by the car, and how chill they are about it. Like, oh, I think that person just like hit that guy, and just continue
Always Sunny
walking.
in Philadelphia type
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
It's just like so like chill about it and just continues walking, and the camera's so chill about it. The direction of it's just like, okay, well that happened. Now let's go on to this story. So you know, so I think
Sometimes it do be like a movie in Austin, like that.
sometimes it do be like that. But yeah, I don't so Slacker, you know, that's just my comfort breakup movie for some weird reason. So it's like I love Austin. Hey man.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, Blake, do you have any questions?
I have one more actually.
Yeah, go for it. Then I can chill on my phone, yeah?
All right, go ahead.
No.
Well, so Jason, so what other film cities have you been to besides New Jersey, obviously, and Texas?
So it's like, you know, out here now in Texas, so going to see how the film world out here works. The New Jersey one, I mean, that scene is very small.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You could lead the scene out there.
I mean, it was being a big fish in like a small pond type of situation. But that was before, like that was like when I made my movie, and then as soon as I finished my movie and it came out, then I left New Jersey. So, which was maybe stupid of me. I should have, if anything, stayed in New Jersey and just tried making another movie, because I was able to get $36,000 to make a movie in New Jersey as opposed to living in Los Angeles, where it's a much bigger pond and I'm a very small fish. For 8 years living there, it was just a terrible, getting the runaround all the time. And it's just like, but I already made a movie and stuff. And it's just like, why is this being so hard? But, everybody out there is trying to make a movie. So
in a city where everybody thinks they're in their own TV show.
Exactly.
Well, have you ever been to like Hollywood or Atlanta or anything?
Well, yeah. So Hollywood, is Los Angeles. So, I didn't live in Hollywood, but I lived around the Hollywoods, and I never ventured down into Hollywood. I was never a big fan of the Hollywood area.
Never jumped into it?
No. It's great to see, but it's so touristy. I'm just like, get me out of this. Get me out of here. But New York is cool too. When we made my feature, we did casting call up in New York, so that was great to see all the talent up there. But yeah, so yeah.
Did you work
Cool.
with a casting director in your feature film?
No. We once again, we kind of just took everything into our own hands and just did it.
Just like who is by proximity? The actors were by proximity.
Yeah, we put up. I don't know.
Who is close and available?
Well,
How to be in
there
a
was a
movie?
website that we used. I don't know what it was back in 2013, but
Backstage.
I don't remember what it was.
That
But
must've been around for a while.
But we put up a casting call, and then there was literally 500 people that came down, and we checked them all out and dwindled it down to an 8-person cast or whatever it was, or 7 people, I think. So,
Nice.
and I think 2 or 3 of them were from New York, and then the rest were from the Philadelphia area.
Okay.
So
So you were saying earlier that you're writing a feature.
I'm writing a few features at the moment. I kind of back to the ADD lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'll be writing one thing, and then next week I'm just no, let me hop back into this other thing, and then it's sometimes a screenplay just never gets done on my end because of that. But
Feel that.
but yeah, so there's a couple that I have right now that I'm just I'm really droned in on it, but there's 2 that are actually done, and I've been kind of looking for financial stuff.
Nice.
Good answer.
So, yeah, get together a pitch deck. We had a guest on Francois LaRosa. Shout out Francois. He's a really well-known director, and he told us how to get funding, or at least how to get your foot in the door of a TV station or something like that to distribute your film. And we asked him straight up, how do you get funding for your movie? And he said, take out a loan against your car, shoot a trailer, and then set up a pitch deck and bring that to everybody you can think of, and try to get some funding together.
I don't need to do the loan
Words of
business,
wisdom
but
from Francois.
I'm
He's a
good on the
genius.
loan business. But
Shoot the trailer.
what I like
any way you can.
what I like doing the most is making a fake trailer for the movie, but using which I forget what they call them, but it's pretty much just a mood trailer. You take other clips from movies and you kind of make them to your own thing. So I've done that 2 or 3 times now, and that has actually just been oh shit, this is what you want to do, sort of. And I'm 100% sort of what I want to do. So then that actually gets them excited, and then here's the script, and I do a whole pitch deck thing and kind of just give it to them all as a package. There are some things where
So how do you deliver that? Do you just
just
send a
email,
PDF?
just email, yeah, send them a good WeTransfer file and call it a day.
Yeah, you kind of have to go back to the compatibility thing. You can't really send them an Adobe Premiere project.
No,
This is what I had so far.
yeah, this is what I got. But no, so you kind of just do all that. You kind of just put in the effort.
Yeah.
Show that you give a shit, and just here's the vibe of what it's going to be. Because there's so many times where I have been in the situation where they're oh, we'll do this, that, and this. I'm cool. Are you paying for all this to get done? And they're just no. And I'm okay, well then you're gonna get this instead, because I can't go out and do this. It's let's say a fake trailer. If I was to make a fake trailer or something, which I have a couple times, it's just kind of just what are your resources for it, because it's not going to be 100% what you want it to be
Yeah.
for the actual thing. Because like obviously I need your money to make what I want to make. So
Right.
so yeah. But yeah.
Return on that investment like 3 times over. It's usually
Exactly,
what
and
they
Yep.
want.
taking a loan out on your car to go make a fake
That's what
trailer.
he said. Like, no money. Like, how do I get it done? Well, that's how you do it. It's
Ah.
like, I like how like that's just a hard truth, and like this is how you do it. I love that.
I also
Like,
think
there's no runaround in that. You know.
I think that there's also no correct way of doing it.
True. True.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I mean,
I could walk down the street for all I know and like just run up to a guy and be like, hey man, I'm looking for money to make a movie. And they'd be like, oh well shit, today's your lucky day.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And probably that has happened to someone probably. But
Yeah, if I can bring this up, this remarkably coincidental. Shout out Carlo, our AV guy. He's switching for us. Carlo, switch the camera once or twice for us. Hey, there he is. I can say a story secondarily from him. He was in a bar and he pitched his idea for his class that he was trying to teach, and this guy ended up being on the board at UT or something like that. He gets
That's
the
what I'm
idea
saying.
after. And
That's what I'm saying.
Like gave him $1 million to do
great
this
guy.
educational thing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So there you go.
So you never know.
You never
That's
know.
exactly what I'm saying. Is that you never know. You can try.
So the moral of the story is go to the bar more often.
And that's why I
Good.
said put yourself out there.
Exactly. Put
Yeah.
yourself out there.
Exactly.
So that's what like the one thing about that I like about the Austin energy as opposed to the Los Angeles energy is that Los Angeles you take these these meetings and you go out to dinner or you go to lunch and you spend
formal thing.
you spend $50 in parking that drove you a headache plus an additional $20 for that parking, and you have this meeting and it's full blown bullshit. You leave and you're just like, I don't know what the hell was solved
I
here.
thought that was really productive.
Yeah.
That's what they want people to do.
That's what they want you to think, but then like that's not my vibe. Like,
Yeah.
like I'll show up I'll wear pajamas somewhere if I can. I don't care. But like more the vibe out here is more so of like how the energy of how I got my first feature like made in Jersey, where it's just kind of like so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Done. You're taking meetings, not wearing. You don't have to wear a button up and
Yeah.
Look like
If you could
you own
land
the
If
place.
you could land like a pitch in one of these high-end apartments and just like get the people in the apartment to see it and throw a little bit of money at it, because there's some places here. Actually, most of the apartments here are between 25 and 3,000. So it's going the way of LA and New York.
It's
in
crazy.
That way. What I'm just saying is like they also have like little. I'm a real estate photographer, so I've seen a bunch of these. There's some that have little mini theaters in them.
Oh yeah,
Like straight up movie theater seats, recliners,
it's great.
projector. You can play anything you want on it.
I love it.
So if you lock that down, all those people with that type of income in there, I bet you can get at least your trailer shot.
I
'Cause
mean,
everybody loves movies, man.
well, I'll go shoot the trailer myself since I have the equipment, thankfully. But
But you can shoot like a really high-end trailer. Like you can get like, it all shot.
just shit just
with
exploding.
CGI. Yeah.
Another great source is Fiverr, the website Fiverr, to finding
Fiverr, yeah.
finding like visual effects people, because they'll do things for like $15 and like be cooler.
Yeah.
Like the first short Mia that I did was done from a guy from there. No, I lied. A music video that I did was done from a guy on Fiverr,
Nice.
and he made it pretty damn cool. You know what I mean? And it cost like $30. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
That's
Bless you.
Gesundheit. That's legit, man. I haven't looked on Fiverr that much, but there's been a new YouTube trend where Fiverr's like probably doing a marketing campaign where they hire big YouTubers to say, I paid 50,
I bet, yeah.
50, 150, 300, 500,
Mhm.
and saw what the results are.
Yeah.
So like I saw one about music, and it was like make an opening theme song, and I want it to be like this, and I paid one guy 50, one guy
Yeah.
100, and you get to see the results, and all of them are dope as fuck.
Yeah. No,
And
I mean, it's
I
great.
was blown away because I
Yeah.
thought it took a lot more to get great music.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just all the best people have been driven to Fiverr for $15.
Yeah. No, it's
Which, hey man, come work on my film like forever.
it's a pretty great website to use if you're on a budget. So
So you're a musician as well.
I do music. Yeah.
What instrument?
I play, drums, bass, guitar, all that stuff.
Cool.
But
Really?
but yeah,
Multi-talented.
yeah. I'm not saying well,
So
but
you
I
got
play 'em.
you got all the AV nerd stuff at your house. It's
Oh
like-
yeah,
it's like a kid's
yeah,
store.
yeah. I got so I produced a few rap albums and stuff. So I've done a lot of production for that. And yeah, so
That's legit, man.
yeah, it was pretty surreal when you're like holding a vinyl that you produced and like your music's on it, and it's like, this is fucking cool. I never had that before, so let me check that one off the list, I guess.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah, it was really really cool. So yeah.
That's intense, man. What? So, did you ever think you would go towards only music instead of making films? Like, would you?
When I was younger, yeah. I think I wanted to start. I wanted to make or be creative at like age 6
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, as
but-
you said, doing tape to tape.
Yeah,
Like,
you're doing that.
Model
I'm
it.
making feature-length movies in one day with my cousins or, some friends around the block and stuff. But then, you get in like later middle school, early high school, and it's just like, well, I'm going to start a band. My brother's a drummer, so
there you go.
so it was very easy. We were just always making music regardless. So then, you throughout high school, I was just like, I'm going to be in a rock band and all this stuff, and we're gonna tour and all these things. But then people got into drugs, and it just never happened. So,
Drugs ruin everything.
drugs ruin everything. That is 100% correct. So.
We survived, man. There's some bros that survived.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it was after that when like all my like the music thing started dying down, and then that's when I
Like,
wanted
all right,
to.
crack is that important, man?
Yeah,
Do your thing.
yeah, not even crack, like heroin and shit. So then
I got a
wanted.
story about that in town here too. And long story short is people are not really like, oh, he was a meth head, gross. Like nobody's really like that here. Let's go back to like chill to a fault.
Nice. So it was like after that, like around like age, like I always made shit regardless, but visually, but it wasn't until probably like age 19, 20 is when I really then took it serious to try to make features.
Yeah.
And then like did more shorts, and then me and my cousin, we made a feature for $600, and we had, it's like, my cousin was a fantastic producer. He somehow got us free range to film an entire movie at what was that, the like Hampton Inn or whatever, like one of those like hotels. Yeah, I was like, how did you do that? Yeah, so we had a whole hotel to play around in, and we made this movie. It took like 3 months to do because we only shot like Friday and Saturdays.
Right.
And we just did that for like 3 months straight. Made that movie, cut it together. We had no clue what the hell we were doing, but once again, we just did it. And then
You still have it?
I have it somewhere. I don't know,
You
but
put that up on the YouTube.
there,
YouTube.
one of the, it's like one of those things. I want to recut it again, but we held a local screening, and like we sold out like 2 screenings in like one night. We're like, well, this is kind of cool. So then it was after that when I was age 23. So it was after that, like we were just like, let's try to make a real movie with a real budget. So we pretty much like running around trying to find investors out there, and then that's how the real movie happened. So just do it. I feel like if you just do things and wheels are in motion, things happen.
Yeah, there's enough momentum behind it.
Yeah.
Doing enough to keep it going like every day. I'm
Yeah.
100% behind that.
Yeah.
So. I'm a writer of sorts as well. Actually, how I got into film is going to college. My first semester in college, I was intending. I'd read a lot. I wrote a lot. I was an introvert, and all I wanted to go to college for was English, and just do that and just learn about books. Anyways, that summer I was in like this preparatory class you had to take before going to the college I went to, which is Lake Superior College back up north, and in that class I met this kid named Brandon, and I had a short film of mine. I think we brought it in for whatever reason that day, and he wanted to read it, so I gave it to him. It was called The Legend of the Black Bear, It's like a legend story. It's about it's like a spiritual legend story about how the black bear came to be. He read it and he goes, "Come here," and we go out of this little study room around the corner into the production like media studies area of the college that I'd never seen before, and I meet the professor and he shows me there's like it's just like this like media lab of all editing equipment in a giant studio, green screen, lights, the whole nine. It's a state-sponsored college. So from there, I was inspired by that. I jumped into it, and I was like cutting films that week, like
Nice.
when it's like the I don't know, like the opening week where you're just getting a syllabus and sitting there.
Yeah.
I was cutting films, like,
Nice.
and it went from there to like I took the bus to my house every night, but every single night I was sprinting to get the bus to go home at like 6:50. The last bus was at 7 because I was in there every day, like just enamored with editing and
Nice.
just the whole film aspect of it. And of course, we had all the bells and whistles with it, motion graphics, sound design, libraries, everything you could ever want.
That's great.
And I just saw that, and from playing video games and things like that, I was like, oh, this is a video game.
Yeah.
And just got into it like that. So like from there, I got work on a couple features, got into grip work.
Oh, that's awesome.
And made a documentary of my own that debuted in 2020, January 2020.
Nice.
Online, and then working on a documentary now. But
That's awesome.
worked on a whole bunch of other people's stuff since then.
I
I'm
hear
trying
you.
I'm trying to put a paradigm shift of less other people's shit and more my
Your
shit
own stuff. Yeah.
in order to get a damn job, because nobody wants to see what I was like in the background for.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's so true. I battle that all the time too, where it's just like, all right, I'm done working for everybody else. When are people going to start working for me? Type of thing.
Yeah.
It's so selfish sounding, but
I know you're a director and screenwriter, but do you want to like work on my thing for 3 months?
it's just like, well, maybe.
Uh,
How much money do I not have in my bank account? Let me check.
yeah, let me check.
But it's nice though to hop onto other people's projects and help out, because then you kind of just
Yeah,
it's free schooling at the end of the day.
absolutely.
You can always
Absolutely.
just see like how someone else is doing it, because like I mean me speaking for myself, like I don't think I'm the best person at what I do,
Yeah,
but I do it, and I've never went to school for it. So literally school was like DVD commentaries and
Yeah.
behind the scenes features, or just picking it up and doing it yourself.
I went to a private Catholic school through sponsorship.
Cat
because-
school.
Because I did really well at the community college. They saw my grades and said, you should get a full ride. And so I went there just through media studies. And they were not really a media, like, film school.
Mhm.
Like, literally the film studio was in the science building where all the health and sciences were. Nobody really knew it existed. Anyways, my point
There's
being,
this door back there, kid.
my point being the other side, yeah, exactly. The other side of like learning it yourself and like studying film, like through the internet and watching things and forums and things like that. The extreme other side of that is like getting somebody from the Cinema Film Society who contributes papers to that every year to also make you watch shit.
Nice.
And that's
What's it like? I mean, same scenario where it's just kind of in my high school, there was a film study
and it
class.
was great. My homework was watching stuff. It was great.
Which is, yeah, it's fantastic. And then my high school, there was a film study class. And I think people really only took it to just kind of fall asleep, because they, we would watch movies, and as soon as the lights come out, they'll be like, the teacher will know.
Yeah, head on the textbook.
But actually, I gave a shit about that class because I love movies. So
Yeah.
I was in, 11th grade, I think. So my film study teacher was just like, you're the only one in this class that takes this seriously. So would you like to make a short film, and I would like to submit it to...
Yeah, everybody around you is confused. You're still awake at the end.
Well, she wanted me to make a short film so she can submit it to, I think it was Rutgers Film Festival or Rowan Film Festival. I forget. It was some college's film festival. I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Waited till like last second to do it. And I turned it in. I made it that Sunday. Well, I think I had a month to do it. But I made it the Sunday before I turned it in on that Monday. And as soon as I turned it in, I proceed about my day. It was in the morning when I turned it in, and at like 1:30 p.m. I get a call to go down to the guidance counselor because apparently I offended the entire faculty and staff at my school that watched this short film that I made. There was two police officers there. There was like guidance counselors there. The principal, vice principals were there. I was like, what the I made a fucking masterpiece. Everyone loves this shit. No. Yeah, they thought that I needed to take a psych evaluation test and stuff.
They thought you were a psycho.
They thought I was a psychopath because my brother, who played the main...
What was this film?
It was about a guy that was just so tired of politics and stuff, so he kind of just goes a bit crazy and shoots himself at the end. That's kind of just all it was. Like, and it was just using the A Perfect Circle's "Gimme Gimme Gimme" cover, which is originally by Black Flag, and so that song plays the entire time, and there's just all these images going on. And yeah, they expelled me from high school until I got a psych evaluation test. Yeah, all that from film study.
Expelled from high school for making a film that goes against the grain of New Jersey standards.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Which I was pissed off about because one of the things that would piss me off about was like, "This is too ahead of your time." I'm like, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? Like. I think I was 6.
You're supposed to kill yourself at 35, not 17.
Yeah. I think I was 17 or no, I was 16. No, I was 17 years old.
Yeah. They just think you're a high school kid.
Yeah. There's no, I think I was 16 years old. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this. But yeah, so I think I was 16 years old, and I was too ahead of the time, and they kicked me out, and then I pretty much had a 3-month like vacation from school because then
more movies, right?
Well, to pretty much, I don't even know what the hell I did during those 3 months, but my mom got really pissed off, and she was like, "I'm calling the lawyer. This is bullshit," and then they let me back into school. So, because there was no real reason to expel me. Yeah. My high school just hated myself and my friends, and they were just looking for anything to get us out.
So this was like the capstone to...
It was just like, what is this? Kick them out. So that happened, but that was fun though. And my dad always said, if you make something, make it controversial. So, all right.
Hell yeah.
I will do it. But yeah.
Are your next films meant to be controversial, or are you still taking that to heart in your feature and your short films?
The one the one feature that I have, it's a coming of age story. I lost over 8 friends to either drug addiction, or they were either murdered or they committed suicide. So it's actually a coming of age story from my point of view of watching all these people go in these different paths. And it's told through like music, pretty much. Any producer that's going to look at it is like, this fucking music budget is going to be insane. But it's actually not, though, because it's all like super underground like artists and stuff that like we all just listened to as kids and growing up and stuff. So I'm like, no, actually that budget will probably be nothing at the end of the day. It'll be something, but it won't. It's not like I'm asking for like a Michael Jackson song or some shit. But that's I wouldn't say it's controversial, but it's fucking real, you know. That the reality is there in that story. So
you make real shit.
It's fucking real. I let someone read it and they're just like, this is good, but like this is all real. I was just like, this is. I mean, some pieces are fabricated on each character only to keep the story going, or something happened to a character that wasn't real with that character in real life, but I had to like use it from someone else that I know that's not in the story to just, move it forward. So
that's let's get real for a second. That's incredible that you experienced, because they were your friends.
Oh yeah.
You experienced them going away, essentially one by one.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And you're here today, laughing and having.
It sounds terrible.
No, I don't mean it like that.
I'm cracking up. You guys are all dead. Fuck off. I'm gonna bank in on you now. No.
No, the strength. I recognize that type of strength. 100%. More power to you, man.
Oh, thank you.
Obviously, mental illness has a huge part to play in.
100%. 100%. And I mean, I battle mental illness as well, but I lost my dad when I was 17 years old in a freak accident. So from there, and every year after that, like someone has died. that I've been like super close with, friend wise, and
Yeah.
once again, it's either from drug addiction, suicide, or one of my friends was even murdered. So it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you got every version of what a horror movie can be.
Exactly, and that's
Like,
what.
you lived every horror movie ever.
Well, my one friend back home, he was just like, I don't know why the fuck you're trying to write a horror movie. Just write a story about something that happened in your life
Yeah.
because it is a
Like
fucking
yesterday.
horror story. I'm just like, that's true. So, and that's more so what my short Serotonin is. That it's Planet Burbank. Like, it's just fucking reality, man. And like, I don't even come from like a terrible area, but like, it just
This
came.
is in Jersey?
It was from a small town, New Jersey, a town called Ariel, New Jersey. But it's like, there's just not much to do there. And even when I go back as an adult, I'm like, shit, I kind of understand why everyone did do drugs. But why didn't I do drugs? It would have definitely kept me occupied, I think. But
Did you? Yeah. Were you outcasted a little bit? Like,
no, it was funny. My
go
friends.
walk around the block. Jason,
No,
we're gonna-
no. They had me in on all the things, and it was cute of them because they tried to something. If they were on pills, they would act like they weren't, but it's like, motherfucker, I know. I know you're doing something. I heard you sniffling in the bathroom. I know what you're doing. I'm not dumb. So it was cute that they tried to hide it from me, but I wasn't stupid. But
Yikes.
if you're just like hanging out with a friend that's just like, hey, come on over tonight, we'll just watch a movie. I'm like, okay, cool. But they're just straight up fucking nodding out the entire movie. I'm like, okay, right on. It's 6:00. Someone's tired. But no, so they actually like, I didn't really smoke weed or anything like that. I drank a bunch when I was younger, especially like after my dad died, I took up like drinking. But
Yeah.
um,
So yes, your drug of choice.
my drug of
Friends,
choice was drinking. Yeah. And I would just watch them do their stuff. But they would actually be like, Jay, you should smoke some weed because you'd probably be really funny stoned. And I was just like, I'm okay. I'll just watch you guys do it. But a bunch of my friends, when they were all taking shrooms and stuff, they asked me, it's like, hey, can you just drive us around? Because we know that you don't do drugs or anything. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? So I would entertain them.
Yeah.
But
You fit well. You'll fit in just fine in Austin.
nice.
We need more designated drivers.
There we go. But yeah, so it's nice to, take that pain. Therapy was pretty much writing this story that I've been trying to figure out for the longest time of how to do it
Fucking
correctly.
A, articulating pain like that.
Yeah.
People go their whole lives without being able to articulate that.
Yeah, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because there's that show Euphoria that came out, and I didn't watch it for the longest time. And I didn't watch it because when I watched like 15 minutes of the first episode, I was like, I fucking live this shit. Like, like I don't need to watch this. But then I did watch it, and I was just like, okay, this show's actually not bad. It's a very good show, actually. And I really enjoyed it. And that kind of actually gave me the spark to write my story of, because it was something that's been jumping around in my head for so long that I'm just like, how do I tell this story? And there's so much shit to tell.
Yeah.
And on top of that, my whole thing with the story and how I want to make my movie is that, as I said, it's like I've been filming stuff since I was young. I was always creative. I was always editing stuff. And
Yeah.
I have logged over, I think it's like 50 hours worth of footage from me in middle school till about I was like age 19 or 20. So I literally have all that footage and some of these moments where I'm talking about in the screenplay that I'm like, I put in bold, typing saying like, this will actually be like the real footage of what's going on, or we'll cut back and forth from like, like a staged version of it and cutting to the actual archival footage of it. So I have all that stuff. So I'm just like, it's very weird. It's like, why do I have all this stuff of my friends? And like, why do I have like these, over 50 hours worth of content with my friends and stuff? So it's just like, I think I need to tell a story about all my friends.
Absolutely.
So, because they're all fucking characters, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
Drugs are a hell of a thing.
it's a
That's
hell of a
the other
drug.
side of them. Drugs
Oh,
are,
yeah.
Louis C.K. Drugs are so good they will ruin your life.
Yes.
Shoot, that's right.
So, yeah.
That's thank you for sharing that, man. And have you had trouble with mental illness at all?
Yeah, I battle, like, as I get older too, it's really weird. Like, I find myself dealing with it more and more, but like anxiety is like a thing, being super stressed out. And just like, I would say mostly though, anxiety, like, it fucking crushes you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like it can,
Social
like,
anxiety.
social anxiety. You know, and when the pandemic happened, a lot of people are just like, all right, you got to stay inside. Don't come in contact with people. I'm just like,
When they shouldn't have done
say
that.
no more. Post up and watch a fuck ton of movies.
Yeah, you know how you hate people and don't talk to anybody? Keep doing that.
Yeah, do that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So, you know, I like a battle.
That also enabled, something that you shouldn't enable.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people have no idea how to talk to each other.
That is true.
And that's indicative because that means everybody has anxiety in some way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, and just depression. Like, I think everybody in my family battles depression, but but yeah, depression's a big thing and stuff, and it's shit's hard, man. You know, and being through a lot of the things that I've seen or been through just in life, and you just things could be worse, and even when I was in high school and when I lost my dad, I went to like a couple therapy classes that they did in school during class periods, and you're sitting with other classmates or peers and stuff, and they're actually talking about like why they're in that class. And it was like a grief processing class or something. I forget what it was exactly called, but there was like one girl who was just like, yeah, I'm here because my brother was murdered by his drug dealers. They threw him on the front lawn and injected him with heroin and just left him there. I'm like, holy shit! So many people have it worse than I do. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you put that perspective in there.
You can't really put it in the all-American way of interacting with other humans, which is competition.
Yeah.
And it's hard to step out of that.
Definitely.
Because it's not really a who gets to the top of the broomstick first in grief.
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody experiences grief. And not to sound like a pastor or preach or anything like that, but, yeah, it's super important to find people you can talk to where it's not a competition, where you can say, hey, I'm struggling. Well, you know what? I fucking got my leg chopped off yesterday, so fuck you.
Yeah.
So don't try to go to military veterans with your problems.
Yeah, no. Like, I love talking to my friends about it and stuff, and like I like to consider that I'm a decent listener and stuff. So
the opposite of combat veterans is go to them.
Yeah. Like, who has not seen shit?
Yeah.
Go talk to them about it.
It sounds like a Craigslist ad.
Yeah.
Have you never seen shit, crap, or intense stuff? Call
555, yada, yada, yada.
All right, dumb joke confirmed. How you doing, Blake?
My parking sticker expires in like 5 minutes.
Oh, good.
How are we doing
good
on
question.
time, Carlo?
It is 7:36.
Oh.
Okay. Well, how are we on recording time?
Free time,
About an hour and 20 minutes.
1 hour.
Yeah, I think we pretty much did the gamut here. My last thing I want to touch on before we step out is what are your brands? Are you a loyal Sony guy for your cameras?
No.
Are you an Aperture guy? Are you Premiere?
I use Premiere.
What's your brands? What's your setup at home?
So I edit in Premiere. I'm currently cutting a feature though in Avid, and I want to fucking jump off a cliff using that editing program. It's the
Avid
worst.
is chaos.
It's the worst. Premiere is just super straightforward. So I use that. I have I shoot with the Blackmagic Pocket Design cameras that I've just been doing with my shorts and stuff. But
Are you on the 4K?
I'm in this. I have the 6K one.
Nice.
Just so I can get
cameras.
just so I can get a friggin' wider frame because their crop factor on their sensor crop factors are so much.
Really?
Oh yeah, like it's like I think that the 6K one is only at like 1.8 crop factor, but the other like the 4K one's like 2.4 or some shit. So you're cropping out like that much of your frame. And I literally had this conversation with my DP the other day. I was just like, It's like, it's terrible. Like, I need to get on the full frame camera business because it's awful when I'm shooting something with someone else. And since I'm so used to the crop factor, I'm used to using like a 16 millimeter lens as like my 30, whatever the number comes out to be, being like
Yeah,
a
it's in the
32
blind
millimeter
spot.
lens.
Yeah.
So then, like, if I'm shooting with someone else and they're using a full frame camera, full lens camera, then I'm just like, all right, yeah, go with a 16 millimeter. Like, a 60 millimeter for this type of shot? And I'm like, wait, fuck, yeah, no, go like a 50. Because it is not as close as I need it to, or I don't need it as wide as I need it to be. A wider lens for that purpose. But,
I get that.
so,
Kudos for knowing the crop factor.
yeah.
It's not necessarily known in the DIY filmmaking world
Oh, yeah, no,
until you get to a certain level.
you got to know that one because nothing's more irritating than being like, why is this 50 millimeter serving as like a 102 millimeter lens? What the fuck?
There's people out there who genuinely think the 50 millimeter is like way too close. It's 'cause
Yeah.
they're shooting on a
Crop lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually not though. It's like, so I use Canon a lot though too for like still photography and stuff, which I do have a full frame camera for that. So when I do get a new lens, I'm like, let me see what this thing really does.
Yeah, nice.
Let me not see the bullshit version of it. The half version of it.
It's sad that you got to call your Pocket 6K like bullshit though.
It's-
'Cause it shoots in a ridiculous resolution.
Oh, it's great. It's a great camera. I have nothing against it. And I mean, as I like doing these 2 shorts with it was really, really cool.
It just adds a lot of processing work, because the only thing that really changes between like a point and shoot and a professional cinema camera is how much the operator has liberty over the controls,
Yeah.
and how divvied up the aperture is.
Yeah.
2.3 or 2.6.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever heard of that until you get up to a Canon like cinema lens. And just knowing how to control that effectively, and plus in 4K RAW, all of the, like, not just color correction, but color grading.
Color grading. It's a
and
process.
understanding,
Yeah.
like, palettes.
Yeah.
And my brain starts on fire when I start thinking about color profiles,
Oh, yeah.
and the color profile that people are going to be watching their screen at,
Mm-hmm.
my color profile on my screen, and I don't know, my own eyeballs. It's
Yeah.
like there's just like too many variables at the same time.
That's like that.
That's
like,
where we're barreling towards that at breakneck speed.
those are the things where I'm like, look, I'll make this short for $0, but I will pay someone to color correct it.
Yeah.
I will pay someone. Like, I love doing sound design, but then after you're cutting it, you're directing it, you wrote it, you shot it, you're doing all this shit. By the time now that I got to do sound design, I'm like, I'm fucking done. Like, I have to pass it on to someone else to do, so then they can put a different spin to it.
Definitely.
But yeah, so, I'm not like gotta use Canon, gotta use Sony. I'm not like that. Whatever looks great. Whatever, you know. It's the same thing where like everyone thinks that, you know, if you have, you know, a red cinema camera, you're gonna make the best movie. It's just like, no, you need a good eye.
I'm part of this forum,
you-
and somebody posted it, and they had I think they shot on a Blackmagic 4K, and they were like, "Why is my footage flickering?" And and it was clear he was shooting on this expensive camera, but I think his shutter was probably under the
Oh,
90
gosh,
degree
yeah.
roll, so he was
Yeah.
getting that blinking effect. And he posted it. He's like, "Why is this happening?" And everybody just fucking fried him. It's like,
Because you don't know how to film.
you tried to buy a camera
Yeah.
to make you better. You
Yeah.
know?
You don't know shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyways,
I mean, it's just
like
like,
I try to be on the other side of that. I try to like teach people and like help them go forward.
yeah.
But
I mean,
it's easy to get burned out on that.
you 100% can. I'm not like a tech nerd. I'm not like a tech head nerd guy. I'm just
Sure.
like, hey man, if this is good, like, yeah, I'll check it out. But I mean, the last thing that I shot was a music video, and I shot it on my iPhone.
You know what? We actually that's the one I saw before you came in here.
Oh yeah,
That's
for
cool.
my buddy Sadistic.
Yeah.
The music
Where's he
video.
out of? Is he in New Jersey?
No, he's from Seattle.
Oh, cool.
Or not Seattle. I think Yakima,
'Cause he's
Washington,
got
to
like
be.
He's got like he looks like me. He looks. He's
You
like
get
a
the long
metalhead,
hair.
like Nordic
Oh
looking
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
rapping.
yeah, exactly.
It's different.
He's great though, and I've done a few things with him. But yeah, he definitely gives me free range to kind of like, because I presented that idea to him. I was like, I just want to shoot this all on my iPhone. How do you feel about that? He's like, oh, I don't know. So I was doing test shoots with my iPhone, I got a lens for my iPhone and everything, and
Nice.
went out and just kind of did this whole thing. And
Nailed it.
and I showed him. He was just like, "Wait, that was shot on your iPhone?" I was just like, "Dude, it's like once again, like people get so turned away, like, oh, I shot it on my iPhone, or I shot it on, you know, a Canon, or I shot it on this. Like,
That's
no,
the buzzword.
have a fucking eye. Shoot as good as you can, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you shoot it on. It irritates me when people kind of like, yeah, it's just going back to what we said earlier. It's just like there's no excuse to not shoot anything nowadays. So
You've got a lot of emotional intelligence to see forward into things. That is a wrap on our cameras that have probably died. All right.
all right.
Well, thank you, sir, for coming
Thank
in.
you guys.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, thank you.
Podcast. Blake has to go because he might get a ticket. So we're
Yeah,
all
mine's-
just trying to live our lives. But thank you
Mine's
so
doing
much
the
for
same.
coming on, man.
All right. No, thank you guys.
And is that an iPhone 11?
This is a 12 Pro Max.
Wow, that's cool.
And actually, this. What? Oh, nice,
This
dude.
guy.
Well, that's what the best thing about this case is. So if you see, there's like ridges, and the lens that I got for it, you can literally.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can literally like screw on the lens.
I know.
It's great.
I know.
It's so good.
That's the camera that can composite the image. The
Yeah.
camera, so it basically gets the details of 3 different
Yeah.
focal lengths.
It's pretty wild. Like once again, it's just like it's insane what
Yeah.
technology. Technology's such a bitch, but it can be cool sometimes.
They can be.
But yeah, my parking mirror's gonna go soon too.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I feel the anxiety
Yeah.
of like, oh shit, tickets.
I was gonna say, there's a place down the street called Cabalicious. It's literally like a block over.
Yeah, you want to go grab a bite?
And I was gonna say, if you really want to go grab a bite and get a really nice meal for a good cheap price.
I would love